So now that we have one patch under our belts and have been able to see how the game plays in Season 16, it's a lot more clear as to which champions are the most OP. And in today's video, we're going to be covering 3 for each role who are excelling above all else for 26.02. And if you guys want to stay ahead of the meta for Season 16, then SkillCapped is the place to be. We've got a new course for this year that our challenger players will be working on, and it revolves around keeping you up to date with all the new meta trends. As soon as we discover something new, you can expect a video to go live within that course, breaking down exactly what we found. Whether it be a new build, strategy, or rune setup, SkillCapped subscribers will be the first to know with access to this course. On top of this, we've got our weekly commentaries where our challenger experts walk you through how to carry out of the exact rank you're stuck in. We always upload 10 brand new commentaries each week focused on covering the best champions in meta. And then, of course, you'll get access to our entire catalog of premium courses as you'll be mastering wave control, vision, trading, and macro in no time. And the best part of it all is that we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee. Climb at least 5 divisions while actively using SkillCapped or get your money back, no questions asked. So, what are you waiting for? Click the link in the top right corner of the screen or in the description below to get ahead of everyone else for Season 16. So, starting off with our top lane solo carry selection, a really big winner for Season 16 has been Riven. With the top lane quest changes, it now makes running Ignite way more powerful, and with top laners gaining bonus experience for the rest of the game after they complete their quest, snowballing has become more prevalent than before. There are so many more snowball mechanics in the game for Season 16, whether it be the added plates on Tier 2 and inhibitor turrets, home guards no longer falling off after exiting base, and access to a free teleport after quest completion. Just moving around the map and getting things done is so much easier in Season 16, and for someone like Riven, who can absolutely run away with a game with just 1 kill in lane, she's a top-tier top lane pickup. Riven was already an S-tier champ at the end of last season due to the discovery of her new build that consists of running Axiom Arc as a core item. Axiom Arc Rush is perfect for Riven because you get so much ability haste for your R cooldown, and if Riven gets ahead early and has her R up, then there are few champs who can match her in the 1v1. The new bruiser item Endless Hunger also looks to be viable on Riven as a later game purchase. The longer games go, the more value you get out of Endless Hunger because the passive converts 10% of your bonus AD into ability haste. So once you already have a bunch of bonus AD from your core build, then going for Endless Hunger as a 4th or 5th item is where it's performing the best. So a sample core build that you could run on Riven for 26.2 consists of an Axiom Arc Rush into Sundered Sky 2nd, Death's Dance 3rd, and Endless Hunger 4th. In regards to Riven's matchups in meta, one champ worth a ban right now is Renekton. Renekton with the shield breaking mechanic on his W plus the point and click aspect of the spell makes it harder for Riven to outplay with her mobility, and it's currently one of the most common matchups Riven runs into for solo queue, so a good value ban overall. A top laner who has been thriving in Season 16 for a multitude of reasons is Kennen. So first off, Kennen loves the fact he can now take Ignite to bolster his early game kill threat. In previous seasons, it felt kind of awkward to run Ignite on Kennen because you wouldn't have teleport for potential mid to late game flank plays, but now that you get the free teleport after completing your top lane quest, it's so much more viable to take Ignite. Secondly, Hextech Gunblade now gives Kennen an alternative rush option to Rocket Belt. Gunblade currently has around the same win rate as Rocket Belt on Kennen as a rush item, so both items are viable. The slow that you get from Gunblade can be really nasty if you're playing into a top lane champ who lacks a gap closer. If you just need more kiting power to fend off a Garen, Darius, or Nasus from being able to reach you, then going for Gunblade is incredible. Gunblade is also going to have more value in melee matchups because the AD that you get from the item will be super useful to poke away at them with auto attacks. If you're in a range matchup, or if the enemy has a bunch of mobility, then that's where Rocket Belt value shoots up. Regardless of what item you rush though, it's going to be Shadow Flame 2nd and Rabadon's 3rd. Matchup wise for Kennen, he fares quite well into most meta bruisers. It's actually champs who build more tanky that he struggles more into. Mundo is one matchup that Kennen players are only winning 43% of the time against in Season 16, so if you don't have a ban in mind, then Mundo is a good one to consider. So a really strong tank for Season 16, and rounding out the top 3 for top lane is Ornn. Ornn has gained a nice amount of indirect power this season because of the fact that you now gain bonus XP for the rest of the game after completing your quest. Experience on Ornn is even more valuable than most champs because once you reach level 13, you begin upgrading items, so the fact that you're able to get to 13 faster for this season is amazing. Even though Ornn is a tank, his early game kill threat is not to be understated, especially when he gets level 6, so taking Ignite is now a completely viable strategy on the champ due to the role quest. As a matter of fact, Ignite Ornn players are winning more than teleport players for this season, whereas in 25.24, the last patch of Season 15, Ignite Ornn players perform much worse than teleport players. So it's clear that with the role quest addition, going for Ignite in matchups you think you've got the kill threat in is something you should definitely consider. Matchup wise for Ornn, Fiora is one champ who can be a bit more difficult to play into just because your E is a very telegraphed spell. So with Fiora's W, it makes it so that you can never fish for your Q into E knockup plays without running the risk of getting countered super hard. The best core build for most games on Ornn revolves around a Sunfire or Hollow Radiance Rush into Unending Despair or Canic Rookern 2nd and Jockshow 3rd. If the enemy team does have a bunch of healing, then Thornmail as a second pickup is viable, but if not, not, then Thornmail is pretty overrated compared to Unending Despair and Rookern. So one of the most fun and strong champions that you can play for Season 16 is Echo. Echo jungle and mid are both great right now, with Echo jungle performing slightly better. The reason Echo feels so much better for this season is because of the new item Dusk and Dawn. The item procs on hit effects twice after you use a spell, so this means Echo can now proc his passive by simply using his EQ animation cancel combo, so no need to auto attack anymore to proc his passive if that combo lands. This sort of hit and run style of Echo feels really nice to play, as you can dive in, get an instant passive proc, and then zoom around to either finish off your target or wait for your next rotation of spells to go back in. As if Echo wasn't already a very safe assassin due to his ultimate, being able to proc his passive so quickly now enables him to stay super slippery in fights. So for the core build on your Echo jungle, it's a Dusk and Dawn rush into either Nashor's or Shadow Flame second, and then Rabadon's third. Nashor's is ideal if you're ahead early on because the attack speed is going to be really nice to help you pressure towers and just close games out faster. If you need more raw teamfight strength and one-shot power though, because the game is in a more even state, look to grab Shadow Flame. Matchup-wise for Echo, there isn't a specific meta jungle matchup he really hates playing into right now, so consider prioritizing your ban on a peel support who can neutralize your dive threat like Lulu or Braum. So Riot decided to leave Dusk and Dawn untouched for 26.2, but if there's an item that's going to be nerfed next, it will be Dusk and Dawn, so take advantage of both Echo and Diana while you can. Diana is phenomenal with Dusk and Dawn because the item enables her to proc her passive way more frequently in fights. Diana turns into this AP bruiser who still has a good amount of burst threat against squishies, so it's really the best of both worlds for Diana right now. Diana also loves this more hard farm meta in Season 16 as she's one of the fastest clearing junglers. The fact Scuttle now spawns in at 2 minutes and 55 seconds means that Diana is one of the few junglers who can actually arrive on time to Scuttle, as she can full clear in about 2 minutes and 45 seconds if done optimally. Our Challenger jungler skill shot actually has a brand new Diana game up on our website already, and then we've also got an Echo game from our other Challenger jungler, Jap Import, so both are great pieces of content if you're looking to pick up either champ for Season 16. And of course, throughout the season, we'll be releasing 10 new full game commentaries every single Monday with priority on covering the best champions in meta, so you guys can stay ahead of everyone else. So for the complete core build on Diana, you will want to rush Dusk and Dawn, go into Riftmaker second and Leandri's third, while Conqueror is the best Keystone rune. One matchup in meta that Diana players are really struggling into right now is Gwen. The thing is though that Gwen does have a lower play rate and she's getting nerfed for this patch, so banning her out isn't the best value. Most value for your ban when picking Diana is going to be on a meta support with good peel power who can stop you from engaging fights as freely as you'd like. So as we mentioned for Echo, both Braum and Lulu are two great options. One jungler who has gained a ton of power for Season 16 due to a lot of the system changes and rounding out the top 3 for this patch is Rammus. So Rammus started off 26.1 at around a 55% win rate, and Riot had to hotfix nerf him, but even with a hotfix nerf issued, he's still heavily outperforming. There are a few reasons to why Rammus is so much better for this season. First being that the new home guard changes allow him to get back out on the map and find picks with Q way more consistently. You also gain more movement speed when you get your jungle quest completed, so this helps Rammus be in the right position to capitalize on catch opportunities more often. Just being out on the map and available to make a play is so key for a champion like Rammus, who can instantly punish outnumbered scenarios with his engage power from Q. On top of this, you take 50% less damage from jungle monsters this season, so for a champion like Rammus, who's always more vulnerable to invades, it's way less likely that you're going to be invaded and lose a bunch of tempo for Season 16. The best build for Rammus consists of a Thornmail rush into Hollow Radiance or Sunfire Aegis second, and then Jockshow third. The new item Protoplasm Harness is looking like a viable later game pickup on Rammus as well, so as a fourth pickup, it's something to consider. In regards to Rammus' matchups, he hates playing into magic damage, so either Lilia or Nunu are two good bans for the current meta. So going into the season, something that really flew under the radar that has defined the meta for mid lane so far were the changes to home guards. Home guards no longer wear off as quickly, and the duration will extend so much further than before, so this has made strong roaming mids a lot better. Aurelion Sol is one champion who has seen a nice win rate boost for Season 16 as he loves the new home guard changes. The game just feels so much faster this season with home guards allowing you to get back out on the map faster, and for someone who can impact the map so well like Aurelion Sol, the changes have given him a disproportionate boost in power compared to most mids. Really key to note that for your build on Aurelion Sol, rush Rylai's instead of Blackfire Torch. You don't need Blackfire on Sol, and getting your Rylai's faster provides that much needed sticking power for the champ way earlier on in the game. It's going to be a Rylai's rush into Leandri second, followed by Zanya's or Bloodletter's Curse third, and then Comet is the best Keystone rune. Aurelion Sol doesn't like playing into mid lane champs who have a ton of mobility, so using your ban on Katarina or Zed is good value. Sol loves playing into champs that lack gap closers because it makes his damage from E and Q stick a lot more. An assassin mid lane champ who has been excelling with how the mid lane meta has shifted for Season 16 is Talon. So as we mentioned when covering Aurelion Sol, these new home guard changes have increased the tempo and pace of League by quite a bit for this year, and a strong roamer like Talon benefits a bunch. What we didn't mention yet though is that getting your side lanes ahead with how the role quests work is so much more rewarding now. Your top laner gains access to bonus experience for the rest of the game and an increased level cap, while your ADC is getting that immediate influx in gold, more gold for killing minions, and an extra item slot. So you're just able to become so much more powerful for this season as a top laner or as an ADC, and therefore playing a roaming mid like Talon who can influence those lanes incredibly well is a big perk to playing the champ right now. Not only this, but Talon is loving the new lethality item changes. Umbral Glaive and Bastion Breaker are both extremely powerful on him, and Bastion Breaker especially just offers up so much more snowball power, giving you the ability to mow down towers at lightning speed. Ghostblade Rush still looks to be the way to go for Talon, so that your early game roaming power is as good as possible, but Umbral 2nd and Bastion Breaker 3rd works amazing. Matchup wise for Talon, he doesn't like point and click CC, as it makes playing out teamfights much more difficult, so banning Lissandra is good value. And then a really underrated rune setup on Talon right now consists of going Inspiration and secondaries with Cashback and Triple Tonic. With how accelerated the game feels in Season 16, going for Cashback and being able to snowball even harder is amazing. A mid lane champion that feels so much better to play for Season 16 is Kassadin. We really didn't realize just how much Otacon dumbed down mid-game macro in Season 15. It's like when Otacon spawned, then being on the opposite side of the map was a death wish for your team, so that really hindered Kassadin's ability to side lane and scale up as freely as he wanted. Now, with Otacon gone, you don't need to worry about your team instantly losing an objective if you try to split push, because Baron is pretty difficult to take at 20 minutes. So as Kassadin, you can collect your farm in the side lane, and side laning in general just feels way more rewarding this season because of all the additional tower plates. For Kassadin's build, standard core consists of a Rod of Ages Rush into Malignant's 2nd and Archangel's 3rd. Since you can buy double tier items on Season 16, a build you're keeping an eye on consists of going both Archangels and Winter's Approach. Winter's Approach actually has a really high win rate as Kassadin's 4th item, so if you wanted to try a double tier setup, then you'd go Archangel 2nd instead of 3rd, because in order to get that 2nd tier stack, you need your 1st tier item upgraded. The best rune page on Kassadin is going to be a scaling setup with First Strike as the keystone along with Cashback. There's just one matchup right now that Cass players have an overly negative win rate against in Season 16, and it's Zed. Zed being an AD assassin is naturally more difficult for Cass to deal with, and with Zed holding a pretty high play rate, he's a good ban to consider. Without question, a top 3 ADC heading into 26.2 is Jinx. Jinx has been loving this new season, as she's an ADC who spikes really hard in the mid game with 2 items, so more access to gold from the quest and tower plates has been amazing for her. One of the new items, Hex Optics C44, has potential on Jinx as well, and it's getting buffed for this patch, so another positive for the champion. On top of this, we have nerfs to Sivir and Smolder, who were slightly above Jinx power-wise last patch, so that gap will be closing now. A core build that will be worth trying on Jinx for 26.2 consists of a Yuntal Rush into Infinity Edge 2nd and Hex Optics 3rd. You don't get a ton of attack speed from this build, but you receive a mass amount of AD, so if you're playing into a squishy enemy comp, that's where you'll want to try it. Hurricane as a 3rd item will still be great if the enemy team has more bruisers or tank. Any meta dive champ is good to prioritize your ban towards when picking Jinx, so Diana and Akali are the 2 most played right now. Twitch has been performing quite well to start Season 16, and he's going to be getting even stronger for 26.2. The brand new Zeal item Fiend Hunter Bolts is buffed, and it should now turn into the highest priority Zeal purchase for the champ. What's so great about Fiend Hunter is that it synergizes perfectly with how Twitch wants to play in solo queue. Twitch is an ADC who you almost want to play more like an assassin in the mid game to get the most out of him, as finding picks after popping out of stealth is where a lot of his value comes from. So Fiend Hunter offering up all that bonus damage when you activate R is incredible for Twitch. A really strong 3 item core that you can look to play for this patch consists of a Yuntal Rush into Fiend Hunter 2nd and Infinity Edge 3rd. And then for your ban when picking Twitch, he's an ADC who really just wants to get out of lane unscathed, either even or ahead, so banning a strong laning ADC like Caitlyn or strong laning support like Karma is good value. So by far the most underrated ADC to start Season 16, and taking up the 3rd solo carry slot of the patch is Nilah. Nilah always tends to be on the stronger side, sitting up at around a 52% win rate, but things have just gotten a little silly for Season 16, with her win rate up over 53%. And this is even after Riot issued hotfix nerfs, as she started off the season prior to these nerfs above a 55% win rate. One thing that's inflating Nilah's win rate relative to other ADCs is the fact that most Nilah players are actually taking advantage of cashback in runes. For example, 75% of Nilah players are running Inspiration Secondary, and it's her highest win rate rune page, but only 10% of Twitch players are taking the page, while it's his highest win rate setup. Our challenger player Hector thinks cashback is one of the most broken runes on ADC for Season 16 because of how fast you can accelerate into your core build. Not only do you get the bonus gold on quest completion, but if you take cashback, then you're getting an 8% refund on gold when purchasing each legendary item, so especially for an ADC like Nilah, who really wants to stay ahead of the curve to be most effective, she's loving the Season 16 changes. For Nilah's core build this season, it hasn't changed at all from last year, as the Collector Rush into Infinity Edge 2nd and either Lord Dom's, Mortal Reminder, or Shield Bow 3rd will work great. For your ban, when picking Neela, getting rid of a strong peel support is always good value, so unless your own support is hovering them, then Lulu or Braum are 2 good options right now. This new support item combo is very likely to be nerfed for 26.3, so take advantage of it while you can on Senna. The build we're referring to is an Echoes of Helia rush into Whispering Circlet 2nd. The whole idea behind the setup is that you provide your team with so much healing throughout a fight, because the more damage you're able to deal, the more heals you'll be getting off. Whispering Circlet, providing all of the mana, allows you to spam your abilities freely without ever worrying about running low. So the reliable value that you get out of this core is incredible. The longer the game goes, the more disgusting this build becomes on Senna, because as she gets her passive stacks and acquires more damage that way, she'll be stacking up the Echoes of Helia heal proc incredibly fast. So the core build you'll want on Senna consists of an Echoes of Helia rush into Whispering Circlet 2nd, while Dreammaker is your item upgrade. Super key that you get the rune setup correct when running this build, as you want to take Airy for the keystone instead of Fleet. Banning out a more volatile hook support is always good value when picking Senna, so Blitzcrank or Thresh are 2 good options for the current meta. A second support you want to be abusing the Echoes of Helia with Whispering Circlet item combo on is Sona. And if you're playing this build on Sona, then for the sake of your own LP, max Q out first instead of W. In order for you to get the most value out of Echoes of Helia, you need to be dealing damage. By maxing Q out first, you'll have more damage output and be able to proc the Echoes of Helia passive more frequently in the mid game. Don't even take our word for it either. Q max analytically literally has a 5% better win rate than W max. And then another piece of optimization within your build is to go for Blood Song instead of Dreammaker. Sona wants to be auto attacking after she uses a spell to proc her passive, so she actually gets value out of Blood Song while most other enchanters do not. Similar to Senna, you're just going to want to try and avoid hook supports like Blitz or Thresh when picking Sona, because as long as you can reach 2 items, then the champion becomes a monster, but getting there can be more difficult if playing against a more volatile lane. So with Bandle Pipes getting nerfed for this patch, you're going to want to try Protoplasm Harness on your melee supports, and Leona is one of its best users. Throughout 26.1, Protoplasm was Leona's highest win rate rush item, even beating out Bandle Pipes. So with Bandle Pipes receiving that nerf, the relative value of Protoplasm rises a bunch. Bandle Pipes should still remain a viable purchase, but incorporating Protoplasm into your core build will be a really good idea. The reason Protoplasm works so well with Leona is because she needs to be diving headfirst into fights to be impactful. It's inevitable that you're going to be soaking a ton of damage for your team, so the Lifeline passive providing bonus health and healing when you drop below 30% health makes you an even bigger meat shield for your team. So a Protoplasm rush into either Bandle Pipes or Locket 2nd is what we expect to be most optimal for 26.2. Locket is the obvious, more defensive purchase, while Bandle Pipes is offensive, so it really depends as to what you value more for the current state of the game as to which you purchase. In regards to Leona's current matchups in meta, she hates playing into tankier champs who can nullify her engage power, so Braum is the no-brainer ban right now. Alright guys, one last thing, our rank up guarantee is insane. It's like signing up for the gym and getting a refund if you don't get ripped. That's how confident we are in SkillCapped. We obsess over making the best guides with top players, rigorous testing, and top-tier video editing to make your climb easy. If you're ready to level up, visit SkillCapped.com and see the difference. So that's gonna wrap everything up for our 26.2 edition of the best solo carries. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.